Justice Kavanaugh.
On major questions, I just want to repeat two things from ARG, and if you would caution us against using these as continuing standards for major questions. One thing we said is that Congress must speak clearly if it wishes to assign an agency decisions of vast economic and political significance. And the second thing we said is that the court greets with a measure of skepticism an agency's claim to have found in a long extant statute an unheralded power to regulate a significant portion of the American economy. Do you have any disagreement with those two principles?
No, I certainly recognize the court has used that as a basis to apply major questions, but I certainly dispute that either of those principles could carry the day here. With respect to vast economic and political significance, of course, there's no agency regulation to review, but even looking at how this statutory scheme operates, I don't see how EPA could issue that kind of regulation without transgressing the other limits. If it were really a transformational type of regulation, it wouldn't be adequately demonstrated. It wouldn't be what the industry is already doing to control pollution. It wouldn't be cost effective. Maybe it would transform the nature of our reliance on particular forms of energy and so threaten the reliability of the grid. So in all of those ways, I just don't think you can get to that end result of saying that the statute would necessarily encompass those kinds of effects, and certainly not through this inside-outside the fence line restriction. And then finally, with the unheralded power language that you read, this is a statute where the court has already recognized in American Electric Power that Congress spoke directly to the issue of who EPA should regulate existing power plants, what it should regulate, their greenhouse gas emissions under this exact provision, Section 7411D. And I acknowledge in a colloquial sense that seems like a pretty big deal, but that is right in EPA's wheelhouse because this court already recognized that Congress conferred on EPA, the expert agency, the authority here to make those judgments.
So you don't dispute the general principles, but you think the general principles don't apply to this particular situation?
I think that they both don't apply to this situation and that those principles are never something the court has looked at without taking stock of the actual effects of a particular regulation. So it hasn't referred to those types of principles in a context outside the idea that there really is an agency regulation that is having that kind of transformative effect.
Thank you.
Justice Barrett. Thank you, General.